Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a look at a totally invisible, high-stakes battle that's happening right now, completely out of sight, right inside your very own home. It's a literal war between extreme, unpredictable weather and the mechanical heart of your house, your HVAC system. You know, we usually just expect our heating and air to work flawlessly, right? We flip a switch, feel the cool air, and just move on with our day. But the reality is, depending on where you live, your system is actually under constant, relentless siege.
So, did you know that the actual dirt beneath your feet could be quietly tearing your climate control system apart? It sounds crazy, but it's absolutely true. If we look at environmental data from Middle Tennessee, specifically around the Portland area, we see that the region is built on heavy, expanding clay soil. When it rains, that clay absorbs the moisture and swells up. And when it dries out, it shrinks. This constant, relentless shifting creates incredible stress on your home's foundation, which actually physically pulls, twists, and can literally rip your air ducts right apart. It's this massive chain reaction, and honestly, it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay, let's dive into this. We've got a fantastic roadmap for today. First, we'll hit the Tennessee climate battle. Second, the anatomy of HVAC failures. Third, the $5,000 replacement rule, which is a game changer. Fourth, we'll reveal some insider HVAC maintenance secrets. And fifth, how Alpha HVAC comes to the rescue. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The Tennessee Climate Battle.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what your home is up against. Your system is fighting 95-degree crushing humidity in the summer. See, air conditioners don't just lower the temperature, they actually have to pull all that thick moisture out of the air, which makes your compressors and capacitors work absolute overtime. Then winter rolls around with these unpredictable freeze-thaw cycles. Your heat pump gets wildly stressed out because it's constantly cycling on and off just trying to keep up. Add in that shifting, clay-heavy soil we talked about, plus high water tables that create constantly damp crawl spaces. That dampness, it directly attacks the metal ductwork running under your floors, corroding the metal and turning the whole space into a breeding ground for mold. It is a completely brutal mechanical environment.
Section 2. Anatomy of HVAC failures.
So, what happens when the climate starts winning this invisible war? Well, using data straight from the front lines via Alpha HVAC, we can see the 4 most common casualties. First up, capacitor failures. These are the little electrical components that give your system the jolt it needs to start. The extreme heat literally cooks them, which leads to weird humming sounds or your system rapidly cycling on and off. Second, we've got frozen evaporator coils. This usually kicks in when your airflow drops, maybe from a clogged filter or a blocked vent, and ice just builds up, completely stopping the cooling process. Third are corroded refrigerant lines, which get totally eaten away by that intense humidity, leading to slow leaks that wreck your cooling capacity. And fourth, leaking crawlspace ducts. Thanks to the corrosion and shifting soil we mentioned earlier, tape seals break down, and you can lose an astonishing 20 to 30% of your perfectly conditioned air straight into the dirt under your house.
Section 3. The $5,000 replacement rule.
So the crucial point is understanding the math behind this insider rule of thumb. It's actually brilliant in its simplicity. Here's how it works. You take the estimated cost of a repair and you multiply it by the expected remaining years of your unit. If that total number exceeds $5,000, it is time to replace. Period. For example, say you've got a 12-year-old unit that needs a $600 repair and it has roughly 8 expected years of life left. While 600 times 8 is 4,800, it's under the threshold, so you repair it. But what about a 15-year-old system needing an $800 repair with only 5 years left? That equals $4,000. Actually, wait, let me explain why that matters. That $4,000 might seem lower, but given the age and the high upfront cost relative to the lifespan, you're past the tipping point of a good investment. The rule essentially removes all that panic and emotion from a really stressful financial decision.
And speaking of the financials, if that math tells you it's officially time to replace, what kind of numbers are we really looking at? Well, for a typical 1,000 square foot home in Portland, Tennessee, a brand new 1.5 to 2-ton HVAC system will run you somewhere between $3,500 and $7,000 fully installed. And that range covers everything from your basic single-stage systems all the way up to those high-efficiency variable speed models that are specifically engineered to conquer that crushing Tennessee humidity.
Section 4. Insider HVAC Maintenance Secrets.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the golden 3-minute rule. If your air conditioner shuts off, whether the thermostat did it automatically or you manually flip the switch, you absolutely must wait at least 3 exact minutes before you turn it back on.
Why? Because the highly pressurized refrigerant inside the system needs time to equalize. If you get impatient and flip that switch right back on, you're forcing the compressor to fight against incredibly high internal pressure. That one simple mistake can trip your breaker, or far worse, permanently destroy the internal components of your compressor. Waiting just 180 seconds can literally add years to the life of your equipment.
Now, when it comes to installation, you definitely need to know about manual J-load calculations. This is what elevates the entire trade from simple repair work to certified engineering. You really cannot just guess the size of an air conditioner based purely on a house's square footage. The manual J process scientifically calculates the exact system size you need by factoring in your home's insulation, the specific orientation of your windows, and your exact climate zone. If you throw in an oversized system, it'll cool the house down way too fast without actually removing the humidity, leaving you feeling cold and totally clammy. But an undersized unit? It'll just run nonstop until it literally burns itself out.
And the engineering doesn't just stop with the main unit outside. The ductwork inside has to be designed using ACCA Manual D standards. This is all about perfecting airflow and pressure balance. If a contractor skips these strict standards, you're going to end up with obnoxiously loud vents, massive energy waste, and a house completely full of frustrating hot and cold spots. Proper duct design is absolutely crucial. It ensures a smooth, quiet, and perfectly balanced delivery of air into every single room.
Okay, here is a fantastic money-saving insider tip for you. If you're going to pull the trigger and buy a new HVAC system, timing is literally everything. The absolute best times to buy are in the fall, specifically October and November, and early spring, right around March and April. The reason comes down to simple supply and demand. Demand is way slower, so manufacturers drop brand new rebates just to move their inventory. Plus, and this is a big one, the local installers aren't frantically rushing around from one 95-degree emergency call to the next. You're going to get way better deals, and you'll get their absolute best, most careful, unhurried installation work.
Let's move to Section 5 and see how this builds. Alpha HVAC to the rescue.
Alpha HVAC has really refined a straightforward, localized process to step in and get your home back to a livable state quickly. First, you call for immediate dispatch. They send out technicians in fully stocked trucks, which means they already have the exact capacitors and parts we just talked about right there on the vehicle. Second, they do a full diagnosis and give you upfront pricing. No shady, hidden diagnostic fees, no high-pressure sales tactics, just clear, honest numbers. And third, they do the repair and run rigorous system testing. And get this, every single technician is EPA certified in proper refrigerant handling. That's actually a federal law that a lot of unlicensed fly-by-night operators skip, which completely wrecks your system and the environment.
It's also pretty fascinating to look at the local economics behind the people actually doing this hard work. In the Portland area, an entry-level helper makes around $32,000. But once they put in the work and become an EPA-licensed technician, they jump up to between $38,000 and $60,000, and a master technician who's handling all those complex installs, they can pull in over $70,000. Plus, when that brutal 95-degree summer heat hits, overtime can easily add another 15 to 20% right on top of their base pay. It's a remarkably solid, stable career fighting off the elements to keep the community comfortable.
So we've seen exactly how extreme humidity, shifting soil, and those brutal temperatures relentlessly attack the literal heart of your home. You know the signs of failure, you've got the exact math to decide when to replace, and you're armed with the 3-minute rule to protect your equipment. So I'll leave you with this final, crucial thought. Is your home's hidden infrastructure truly armed for the next climate battle, or are you just one heat wave away from a costly surrender?